Successful decision-making relies on a balance between deliberate and instinctive thinking. This is a quote by Malcolm Gladwell. Hi, my name is Brock Kellenberger, and I'm a student at California State University, Fresno, in the Management 110 lab on Thursdays at 3 p.m. with Robert Kemble. And today I'm going to be talking about decision-making. Because according to the Iliad Assessment Center, decision-making is a skill that I need to work on. So here's how I plan to work on my decision-making skills. First of all, I'm going to be avoiding the overconfidence bias. Secondly, I'm going to avoid the confirmation bias. Third, I'm going to be using benchmarking. Fourth, I'm going to be considering the different styles and approaches to decision-making, such as the classical and the bounded rationality styles. And lastly, I'm going to be considering the 5 questions given to us in the Management 110 lab in an article on bizjournal.com by Roxy Hewertson, where she says there are 5 questions that should be considered when making decisions. The first question is, what is the decision that needs to be made? The second question is, whose decision is it to make? The third question is, what method will be used to make this decision? The fourth question is, when will the decision be made? And the last question is, how will this decision be communicated? So by avoiding the overconfidence bias, like I obviously was overconfident in my ability to decision making as I scored myself higher than I actually scored in the Iliad Assessment Center. By avoiding this, I'll be more inclined to take advice and let my research help guide me to the decision and use feedback to make the correct decision rather than believing I know the correct decision. And by avoiding the confirmation bias, I'll let my research guide me to the correct decision rather than researching for information that supports the decision I'd like to make. And by having benchmarks, I'll have points of reference to similar decisions that have been made that can help guide me to the correct decision. And by considering the different styles of making decisions, such as the classical and the bounded rationality, I'll be able to approach decision making in a more orderly fashion. And by using the 5 questions given to us in the Management 110 lab, I'll be able to break down the decision that needs to be made at hand. So I plan to implement this plan beginning today, and I'd like to be making better decisions by the time I graduate in spring of 2018. That way that when I move into the workforce, I'll be better at decision making. So today, I've told you my plan to make better decisions, avoiding the overconfidence bias, avoiding the confirmation bias, using benchmarks, using the different styles of decision making, and using the 5 questions mentioned in our Management 110 lab. I've also told you a little bit about how I think that those methods will help make me make better decisions. And I've also told you that I plan to implement this plan by spring of 2018. So by using these tools given in the Management 110 course, when I graduate in spring of 2018, I will hopefully be making better decisions and be able to find a good job in marketing.